She can't say it, but I can.
I love you, Logan.
We couldn't have hoped for a better climax as X-Men 97 finally sealed the deal with a perfect 3-part season finale. The show proves itself to be a worthy successor to the iconic X-Men the animated series, and the narrative of the confirmed upcoming season is shaped by how the final episode ends. We are given a slight cliffhanger regarding the fate of the X-Men who are seen stranded in past and future timelines, and the 3 of them, Storm, Wolverine, and Morph, are still missing in action. In this video, we will try to elaborate on their potential fate and also explore what might have caused the X-Men to go missing across various timelines. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin. What happens to the X-Men at the end of X-Men 97 Season 1? Saving the world doesn't happen without consequences, and we get to see the X-Men dealing with them after their heroics in the season finale. After his Prime Sentinels are stopped, Bastion decides to go ahead with an extreme measure, where he plans to hurl Asteroid M on the Earth to bring about global extinction. There seems to be no way to stop the inevitable until Magneto is physically convinced by Professor Xavier, and the asteroid is almost vaporized much before it can hit the Earth's surface. While the X-Men succeed in averting the global disaster, they all go missing following the massive explosion that destroys Asteroid M. Back on Earth, they are assumed dead, and it is later revealed in the episode following the appearance of Bishop that they have been scattered across various timelines and need some saving. Most of them, including Professor Xavier, Magneto, Beast, Nightcrawler, and Rogue, are stuck several thousands of years in the past in ancient Egypt. Here, they come across one of their most dreaded villains, Apocalypse, who is probably yet to become the deadly evil version of himself. Meanwhile, Cyclops and Jean Grey end up a couple of thousand years into the future, which appears to be a futuristic dystopian world. The fate of Storm, Wolverine, and Morph are left hanging in the balance because we don't see them any longer. Forge has a board in his room where the picture of various missing X-Men members and other mutants are put up on the walls. The status for Wolverine and Storm reads presumed dead, and if there is one thing we can say for sure, it is that both are alive and will surely be brought back in Season 2.
Where are we?
Damned if I know.
What really caused the X-Men to time travel unknowingly? Of course, we're all wondering about where Wolverine, Storm, and Morph have ended up, but the answer to this mystery might be hidden in the reason behind the sudden time travel that the X-Men have been subjected to. Surely, from the confusion of the X-Men, it is an obvious deduction that they did not willingly get dragged across the timeline. As Bishop explains to Forge, something or someone might have triggered this unexpected time travel, and things might be more than just a mere coincidence. Previously, we have seen Bastion rip off Cable's techno-organic arm, and it almost gets absorbed into his body. This is the arm that had Cable's time-traveling device, and Bastion is seemingly destroyed after being drawn into Asteroid M's core. However, the time-travel device might have been integrated into his body, and this might have created time portals that sucked in the X-Men. There's also a possibility that Bastion is also out there in a particular timeline, and he orchestrated the entire accident so as to scatter the X-Men in the past and future. Another reason behind the unexplained time travel could be the intervention of a cosmic entity like the Watcher, and this could have been done to avert a major disaster threatening the balance of the universe. Why are we not seeing Wolverine, Storm, and Morph? While the fate of most of the X-Men members has been revealed, we are yet to find out what happened to this trio. They are missing from the scene and haven't been observed in the past or the future timeline. There is no clue regarding their presence, and of course, the immediate concern that comes to mind is that are they dead? However, like we said earlier, you can be sure about all 3 reappearing in the next season. Major characters like Storm and Wolverine are simply too big to kill off, and there is no rational reason behind getting rid of these characters so early into the series, which is all set to have multiple seasons. It is most likely that they are also trapped in a certain timeline and we just haven't seen them yet. If the time-traveling incident is indeed the work of a cosmic entity like the Watcher, each move will be calculated and their timeline will also have a particular purpose. The major reason behind their absence in the climatic moments of the season finale seems to be nothing more than creating suspense for the viewers.
To me, my X-Men.
What will their story arc look like in Season 2? Are they all together in a particular timeline? We have already encountered a situation where Wolverine's adamantium has been ripped out of his system during a ferocious attack launched by Magneto. Those who are familiar with this particular event in the comic books will remember the aftermath, where Wolverine briefly steps out of his X-Men duties and heads out on his own, trying to find himself. He is no less lethal than his adamantium avatar because his bone claws are almost as deadly. Whichever timeline he is put into, we expect him to regain consciousness very soon and get involved in some jaw-dropping action with his bone claws. Like in the comic books, we may get to see the aimless wanderer in him, and Wolverine can be seen fighting villains like Sabretooth and Lady Deathstrike. Expect him to reunite with the X-Men at some point because the comic book narrative has a revenge arc where he gets back at Magneto for all the damage done to him. Besides, it would be unusual if Wolverine is not there while the X-Men are fighting a threat as great as Apocalypse. It is difficult to say whether Storm and Morph are with Wolverine in the same timeline. Clearly, neither of them is in the present timeline because Forge has had no luck even though he has been looking for his beloved Aurora for the last few months. Given how the other X-Men have landed up in different timelines and groups, it only makes sense that these three will also be together, although Wolverine might set off on his own to sort out certain issues. Is Morph in love with Wolverine? What can this mean for their timeline? Morph and Wolverine have a unique relationship all through Season 1 of X-Men 97, and Morph is generally seen as a prankster who tries various tricks with Wolverine. The feral mutant clearly doesn't mind his jokes because Morph gets away with a lot when it comes to annoying Wolverine. Previously, we have seen him posing as Jean Grey to tease Wolverine, and he does that once again in the season finale, when Wolverine is unconscious. After transforming into Jean Grey, Morph confesses love for Wolverine, although it is not very clear if he's doing it just to motivate him to heal faster or actually confessing his real feelings. While this shouldn't impact the narrative a lot, a soft corner for Wolverine might see Morph stuck in the same timeline. If Wolverine decides to wander off, he can become a comedic sidekick, and we wouldn't mind their adventures if they're off on their own and fighting notorious villains. How can Wolverine, Storm, and Morph be rescued? The men who are attempting to reset the timeline and bring back the X-Men are Forge and Bishop. We all know that Forge is in love with Storm, and she might be one of the first mutants on his radar. Thus, you can expect to see Storm getting rescued sooner than you think. And if Wolverine and Morph are with her, the trio might just end up becoming the first to get the attention of Forge and Bishop. Like we said before, they wouldn't be separated for too long, and we believe that the real X-Men will be back in action together as a team, and nothing less would suffice because the villain this time is the mighty Apocalypse. Marvelous verdict. The X-Men scattered across timelines is the perfect setup. Just when we thought that X-Men 97 cannot possibly get any better, we have received the perfect setup to start off the Season 2 narratives. One major overarching villain, Apocalypse, across multiple timelines in the past and the future, will take on different groups of X-Men with different missions. Of course, the end goal for all of them will be to eliminate the Apocalypse threat, and you can expect the likes of Bishop and Forge to help in the coordination of these teams across multiple timelines. In the comic books, Bishop lends a solid helping hand in restoring the order and getting the X-Men back in their original timelines, and we can see that happening in the upcoming season. Overall, the stage is set for another brilliant season where more exciting comic book narratives can be adapted with a twist, and it will be an agonizing wait for the fans because the next season seems some time away. We'd love to hear more from you on this in the comments below. Also, tell us about your thoughts on what actually caused the bizarre time travel and how the X-Men can be saved from this bizarre situation. If you like the content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.